So in last night's video, I'd explained to you that the SPY was having a massive gap up from 517.38. I had also explained that there was a bear trap level on the daily chart at $518. So if you see a green bullish 30-minute confirmation towards that level, you're going to want to buy call options. If you were to execute that game plan, you should have had a phenomenal green day on the day. You should have been in on call options right here on the opening of this 30-minute candlestick at 10 a.m. towards this 522 level. I made it very clear in terms of last night's game plan that the SPY was having a massive gap up from 517.38, gapping up to 523.60 towards extended hours. So if it drops right back down, losing its gains, having a quick overreaction to the downside, it is likely going to reverse at the gap. I also made it very clear that it's going to be a buy zone at 518 and 517.38, not just the gap. I simply analyzed the daily chart, and the daily chart said if we get a green bullish 30-minute confirmation at the low of this level, which is 518.36, we are going to have a strong bullish move to the upside. It ended up going to 527.70. In terms of last night's video, I also stated that the SPY is likely going to drop first once we get to 528.60. These lines that I drew out on my chart are from yesterday's game plan. Were the confirmations there for you to execute on the levels? Of course they were, man. Look at this. We had a green bullish 30-minute confirmation in between the buy zone. You should have been in on call options towards the opening of this 30-minute candle, selling into the move. The overall target was very clear, 527 to 528. And then when we hit this 528.60 level, a red bearish 30-minute closing confirmation ended up forming. And if you look at this red bearish 30-minute confirmation right here, you're going to see it's the same red bearish 30-minute confirmation right here. And then the SPY starts to sell off, and then the SPY starts to sell off. With that being said, if you followed the game plan from yesterday, winning should have been a personal choice for you. Now, in terms of the new game plan, I'm going to be saving that in terms of the end of this video. First things first, we're going to be recapping the trades that we ended up making today. Today was a phenomenal day inside of Team Roar. I'm going to walk you through all of the reasonings behind the trades that I ended up making today, man. We absolutely crushed it on calls and we crushed it on puts. I'm going to walk you through this step by step. So, in terms of today, it was nearly identical as yesterday. There was a lot of similar patterns, and I was capturing all these 30-minute chart patterns, man. The gap close reversal trading strategy ended up working once again. Big shout out to everyone who decided to buy call options on the opening of this green 30-minute candlestick, capturing that overall trend in strategy that has been consistently working. Do you realize this is the third video in a row where the game plan worked with the unique gap trading strategy that I've created, man? It's getting you in towards the exact lows, and you could prepare for it a day before the market opens, man. So we're putting you on to the best setups possible, man. Let's get straight into analysis. Now, in terms of the overall trades, the first trade on the day was SPY calls. I ended up buying SPY calls at 12:13 p.m. Let's buy 528 SPY calls for 110 cents a contract. These contracts, if you were to hold and ride them out, they ended up spiking to 207 cents a contract. Why did I decide to buy these calls at 12:13 p.m.? It was the green, red, green pattern. I had stated the 30-minute chart looks very similar to yesterday. We are in the process of reversing out the gap. If you went back throughout the daily chart on the SPY, it clearly stated that if we bottom towards 518, we can rocket to 527 plus, man. So it was simply following the overall trend, man. We got a green bullish 30-minute confirmation right here. The overall trend was bullish, and then we had a green, red, green pattern. In the floor of this bullish pattern was above previous resistance. Therefore, it's going to try to break out above highs, which is why I ended up buying call options into the middle of this overall 30-minute candle. Now, in terms of this trade, I did end up breaking the rules, and I did end up cutting my loss fairly quickly. Inside of Team Roar, we do not use stop losses, and we try our best to really hold and let the trades play out, meaning we let the contracts go to zero. In terms of this overall trade, I simply was not liking the price action. Also, the prices on the contracts have been a lot higher recently due to the insane volatility within the market. So if you really want to do hold for bigger wins, it is best to scale back on your position side just a little bit. Now, with that being said, man, the overall trading strategy did end up working out very, very nicely. We had the green, red, green pattern. SPY was beginning to break out. I was buying into the dips on the 1 minute chart. And you guys are well aware it's supposed to retest the high of this 30-minute wick as well. And it's supposed to continue to go up. So in terms of that overall trade, for me personally, it was a small loss. But we had many members hold through it. We had many members get back in on calls, riding for that full bull trend, because the daily chart did state we can go to 527 plus minimum. I made it very clear that we can spike to 528 by 1 p.m. That played out to an exact T. So the analysis was on point. Unfortunately, in terms of my exit, it was not the greatest, man. But I cut my loss very, very quickly towards 83 cents, man. But in terms of another reason, in terms of making that overall trade, you're going to see this pattern right here. Look at this. You have all these bullish confirmations, You have the green, red, green pattern. So many similarities, man. Look at this. The green, red, green pattern yesterday, and then the green, red, green pattern today. And then it continues to maintain bullish for 2 hours straight. Do you see the similarities in terms of the comparison to yesterday? So let's get into the next trades. In terms of the next trades, man, this is where I really started to go flawless on the day and absolutely crush it. You guys are well aware that I trade best during the power hour trading session. In terms of power hour, I absolutely crushed it, man. Power hour is the beginning from 3 p.m. It ends at 4 p.m. In terms of when we focus on trading SPX, it's towards 3:30 p.m. I'm going to walk you through the overall power hour trading session. I crushed it on call options, and then I crushed it on put options. This is where I truly crushed it on the day. So let's get into it, man. Before then, all of the analysis I was giving out was 100% spot on. But in terms of the overall trades, let's get into it. At 3:18 p.m., let's buy SPY 527 calls at 65 cents a contract, man. Why did I decide to buy these SPY call options right here, literally towards the exact fucking lows at the time, man? Right here, I'm buying these calls in the 60-cent range at the speed of fucking light. They go to 160 a fucking contract, man. They go up over 130% profit return in 10 minutes. Why did I decide to buy calls there? Again, in terms of today, man, there was a lot of similarities within yesterday's 30-minute chart. So I'm simply looking at typically the 10-day 30-minute chart. I'm looking to capture patterns. I'm looking to capture trends using this overall 30-minute chart, along with the levels that I'm planning to trade with as well. So in terms of this overall trade, why did I decide to buy call options? One of the reasons why was I was anticipating and expecting a bullish close. I genuinely thought at the time being the SPY was going to have a very strong bullish close, because in terms of last time when it was at this level, man, and it was beginning to have a reversal at the gap, you know, it had a massive strong bullish close to this 527 level, man, and we were uptrending the entire day. Now, I made it very clear in yesterday's video, this line that I drew out here, this previous support right here at 528.50 is likely going to react as a resistance. And we did get a red bearish 30-minute confirmation to buy put options. I didn't buy put options at that level. I'll be going over in terms of where I did end up buying put options. But that was a great confirmation. And I did call it out within the chat in terms of the analysis that it's going to be a great opportunity to buy put options if you see a red bearish 30-minute closing candle. And this candlestick was the exact same candlestick here from yesterday. And then you had a massive sell. But this is what caught my attention, man. I noticed there was so many similarities of yesterday. Yesterday, we had a gap to fill towards 510, and the SPY formed a green bullish 30-minute candlestick, and then it continued to uptrend. In terms of today, we had a gap to fill at 517.38. The SPY nearly filled the gap, but I also said you can go with that bear trap level on the daily chart slightly higher at 518.36, and there was a green bullish daily candlestick. And then I noticed the overall trend, slanted green to the upside, slanted green to the upside, green, red, green, green, red, green, continues to uptrend. And then we have this red bearish candlestick. Then the SPY has a very nice drop towards key support on the 30-minute chart. Then the SPY has a very nice drop towards this key support on the 30-minute chart with all these bottom bullish wicks, man. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this is extremely oversold. This was just at 529.75. We dropped all the way down to $525. And I'm thinking to myself, this can potentially close bullish. And I'm looking at the pattern, and this is what the pattern says. The pattern says when it forms this red bearish 30-minute confirmation, it's going to have a massive move to the downside, and then it's going to recover its gains, closing that 30-minute candlestick right where it started to open up very, very strong. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, this is going to be a classic bear trap situation on the 30-minute chart, man. So in terms of yesterday, it ended up dropping from 519 to 517.73. In terms of this drop, it was massive, man. 527.65 to 525. I'm looking at this overall chart. I'm saying this just dropped $2.65 at the speed of light. The candlestick before that, 529.75 to 527.50. This is a massive overreaction to the downside. It has potential to close strong at the highs. It's testing this key support. It's likely going to bounce in this pattern right here where it has this red bearish candlestick. Red bearish candlestick is likely going to repeat where the SPY loses the majority of its gains on this 30-minute candle and then it spikes right back up, closing strong. So this candlestick, when I was buying in, was extremely bearish. I measured the overall move and I said it's extremely oversold. I said it's at key support at 525.50, and there was so many bullish confirmations to play that for a strong bullish 30-minute closing confirmation, man. So those were the reasons why I decided to buy call options, man. It already bottomed at this key support, started to spike, double bottom right here, green bullish 30-minute confirmations, forming higher support. These are all great confirmations to get in. And surely enough, the pattern repeated itself to an exact T, man. If you look at this fucking pattern, it repeated to an exact T. It ended up closing strong towards the opening of the candle, ended up closing strong towards the opening candle. And if you look at the overall pattern, next 30 minutes, if that pattern begins to repeat itself, it's going to flush hard. It's going to sell off, which is why when these contracts spiked 120% plus in less than 10 minutes, I took my profits because I was looking at the 30-minute pattern. I'm saying, dude, history is repeating itself at the speed of fucking light. I'm locking in my profits. I'm taking my gains. I'm not risking that. If you want to leave runners and risk more, you set your profit stops. You get stopped out for profits. You don't flip green to red on the trade, right? So in terms of the sell was absolutely amazing, man. The contracts went up so fast, 100% of the speed of light. I got out instantly. 3:23 p.m. That's how fucking fast you can make 100% profit return during the power hour trading session. Now, in terms of the next trade, this is where I absolutely crushed it, man. Right here. 3:33 p.m., let's buy 526 puts at 94 cents. Why did I decide to buy puts? Because I realized that the SPY likely wasn't going to have a strong close. I had identified this pattern from yesterday, and this is what the pattern was, man. The pattern was you have this red bearish candle, you have this red bearish candle. You have a big drop, it spikes back up to the opening of the 30-minute, spikes back up towards the opening of the 30-minute. Now, if you look at this next 30-minute candlestick, you had a massive bull trap, and look at where it topped out. It topped out towards the previous 30-minute highs, meaning if you are seeing it struggling, you are seeing it reacting as a resistance level towards this overall level, it is going to sell off. It is going to flush, right? So if you're seeing resistance forming, if it's failing to break out towards the previous 30-minute, that history is going to repeat itself, man. And the pattern was already repeating itself technically for 90 minutes straight. You have this green candle, you have this green candle, you have this red candle, you have this red candle, red candle, red candle. A pattern is in the process of repeating itself for 90 minutes fucking straight. And then in terms of capturing patterns and capturing trends, I really do focus on the short-term overall time frame. When day trading, that 10-day, 30-minute chart, I've noticed history has a very good job of repeating itself when you're focusing on the shorter term trends as a day trader, right? Today was so similar compared to yesterday, right? So I noticed that it was struggling, and I figured, you know what? It's time to buy put options. Those put options that I ended up buying at 94 cents a contract, those ended up going to 438. And even the 30-minute chart gave it away, man. The 30-minute chart said it's going to close weak towards the lows if history repeats itself. And then in terms of another great entry for put options, when the SPY cracks the low of this wick, it's going to flush hard. When the SPY cracks the low of this wick at 525, it's going to flush hard. That right there is two potential trades. You can buy puts at the opening of this 30-minute candlestick. Don't risk much above it if you want to, tighten your overall risk, right? Or you can just size in smaller and ride it out. And you can also add, or you can even get back in on a new position, on a new strike, once this level cracks, once this wick cracks, because it's going to have a massive flush. And there's only 30 minutes left on the overall shot clock, man. The puts are going to fucking explode with this market volatility. So using that overall 30-minute pattern, we were able to absolutely crush it on the puts. Now, in terms of that trade, it was about a 25% win. I ended up getting out fairly quickly at 117, but I made up for that small win on the next fucking trade right here at 3:49 p.m. Let's buy SPY 524 puts at 68 cents. Why did I decide to buy at 3:49 p.m.? Because history was repeating itself non-stop, man. The low of this wick is at 525, right where I just drew that trend line. History showed that if it cracks that trend line, there's going to be a massive flush. Remember how I showed you if it cracks that 30-minute wick, it's going to have a massive move to the downside? So I'm looking and I'm saying, all right, there's fucking 10 minutes left on the fucking shot clock here. That wick just cracked right here. This is the wick of the 30-minute. It just cracked. It's sitting. It's forming resistance. It's struggling. Red bearish candlestick. Let's buy put options. Those put options that I ended up buying towards the 60-cent range ended up going to 240 a fucking contract in 15 minutes, man. You can hold these SPY options up until 4:15 p.m. You could even sell them towards the extended hours up until 4:15 p.m., man. So we absolutely crushed it, man. Every single trade that we entered today, you could have made over 100% profit return. That's 4 potential wins right there. So on the day, I'm 3 for 4 on the overall day. That was the overall trades. In terms of where I exited those, I was adding at 60 cents when it spiked. I added at 60 cents. We absolutely crushed it. I ended up getting out on that particular trade. I even added more at 83 cents. And then I ended up exiting at 136 cents for a 100% profit return at the speed of over 100% profit return at the speed of fucking light, man. So that is the overall recap, man. That is how you have to be able to view the overall market today, man. So if you have that third eye, that's how you should have seen the overall market today, man. It was very simple overall price action, man. Like I said, in terms of the middle of the day, that trade on calls, it ended up working out, man. But one of the problems with the middle of the day is the price action could be choppy and not the best. So in a sense, you really kind of do have to hold it out, and you have to be able to stomach holding out throughout that chop and throughout that patience, man. I personally find it a lot easier to trade during the most volatile sessions of the market, which is market open and power hour. I trade best during power hour. This just goes to show you, man, the power of the overall strategy. Look at that, man. Look at these. There's no fucking comparison on how simple it is to capture these trends. Look at this, man. Like how simple can this get in terms of capturing these overall trends, man? Because that's what we're doing. We're capturing these trends at the speed of fucking light. Non-fucking stop, man. Look at this overall trend. It's literally identical, man. We're going to compare this side by side here, man. Look at these 3 red candles, man. This is from today. Now let's go to yesterday. This is from yesterday. Look at this. It's identical, man. If we zoom in here, you're going to see these 3 red candles, these 3 red candles. You wait for the overall trend to play out. You find ways to capture the overall trend, man. This candlestick's identical. This candlestick's identical. This candlestick's identical. And another point that I left out in terms of the call options, another reason why. So why did I think that it was going to recover on this 30-minute candlestick to buy call options? I realized it was so oversold and there was not a lot of time left on the overall clock, man. This is another key point. I'm going to go back to this, man, because this was an important point I wanted to make as well, man. So in terms of that overall trade that I bought on call options, I bought it towards the exact lows. I realized the 30-minute candlestick is going to close in 12 minutes. That 30-minute candle is going to close in 12 minutes. It had a massive drop. It already bounced and had a nice spike towards the key support. So in the next 12 minutes, it's likely going to recover, and history is going to likely repeat itself, man. You think it's just going to keep on flushing? There's very little time left on the clock. It can't just keep sitting here and bounce. It has to have a strong move to the downside. It doesn't make sense to crack because history is likely going to repeat itself and that 30-minute candlestick is going to close strong. And also because there's not much time. If there is not much time and we are at a key level, it is likely going to work within our favor of the pattern. This is another reason in terms of that brilliant trade for put options. Think about it, man. This is a very key level. Look at this. This went from 525 to 527.50 at the speed of fucking light. I explained to you why I was bearish on the 30-minute chart, why I was likely going to flush, because that's what history did. It repeated itself, right? So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, it just cracked the bottom wick on the red 30-minute chart. It's forming resistance. It's forming lower highs. There's not much time left. There's only 9 minutes left. You think it's just going to spike and reverse? No, this time it's cracking and it's forming resistance. Last time it was bottoming, spiking, and forming support, man. Don't you see? When there's not much time left and we're at these best fucking levels, you have to play that overall pattern. The most likely outcome is puts in that situation. The most likely outcome in that other situation was calls. This 30-minute, this 90-minute trend repeated to an exact fucking T, man. If you use the key level on put options, I said it was likely going to drop towards 528. In last night's video, I said it's likely get this previous support right here will likely react as a resistance. Red bearish 30-minute confirmation says it's going to drop. Red bearish 30-minute confirmation says it's going to drop. You play puts on the opening of this 30-minute candlestick. You play calls towards the closing of this 30-minute candlestick, if it's oversold, it's likely going to spike back up. And that's what I did. I played calls towards the closing of this 30-minute candlestick with like 12 minutes left on the clock and ended up closing strong. And then I played puts on the opening of this 30-minute candlestick, ended up closing weak. And then I ended up rebuying put options when there was very little time left. Once this 30-minute wick cracked, it's going to close weak. Once this 30-minute cracked, it's going to close weak. You can break it down with the 1 minute and 5 minute chart, man. That was fucking flawless. So that's how I was able to see and view the market in terms of today. Now, in terms of the overall levels for tomorrow, I am going to maintain focusing on buying the dips. Again, I'm speaking a day in advance. There's new levels tomorrow in the pre-market. There's new levels at market open. There's going to be new trades that have nothing to do with what it is that I'm talking about in this video. This is just to help prepare you for the next day in advance, man. Winning's a fucking choice. If you're executing this game plan, you should not have a problem making money within the overall market, being self-sufficient, man. If you're implementing these trading strategies, you should be absolutely crushing it. 3 days in a row, the gap reversal trading strategy got you in on call options at the exact fucking low. Name another trader that you follow is giving you this information, man. I created this information. You understand? I'm preparing you to trade the best setups possible within the overall fucking market. Now, with that being said, in terms of tomorrow's game plan, let's get straight into it. In terms of tomorrow's game plan, and again, this is going to be updated in pre-market in my secure private organization. We're going to be updating things when the market is actually, trading during the normal trading hours. But right now, the same thing is happening as yesterday. We're having a gap up. We are having a gap up. It is a nice overreaction to the upside from 522.15. So when the SPY is having an overreaction to the upside and it's gapping up during extended hours, our key level is going to be where the gap is waiting to fill below. So there's a gap that is waiting to fill below at 522.15. That is going to be a key level of interest to buy call options if we see a green bullish 30-minute confirmation from that level, right? So it doesn't have to be, once the level hits, if we see a green bullish 30-minute confirmation, we buy call options towards the opening, towards the dips on the 1 minute of the next 30-minute candle, right? So we're not going to be getting in towards the exact best level. We're waiting for a confirmation at the level, and then we're getting in on the opening of the next 30-minute candlestick. So we're missing out in a sense first. Sometimes SPY is going to close that 30-minute candle at the level where we do actually want to get in. Other times, it's going to close it slightly above, slightly higher, but we're still going to get in on the overall trade because it's confirmed bullish, right? So call options, 522.15. Now, this is what I want you to understand. This is going to be an overall zone, man. So in terms of this overall zone, 523 to 522, that's going to be your zone. It's a 1-point zone. 523 is resistance. 522 is your make or break support. If you are seeing green bullish 30-minute confirmations, you're seeing trend reversal 30-minute confirmations on the chart, you're going to want to buy call options for tomorrow. If you are seeing a drop back down towards the zone and you see the 30-minute candlestick close bullish or trend reversal towards that overall zone, you're going to want to buy call options on the opening of the next 30-minute candlestick. That is the game plan for call options heading into tomorrow if we drop back down and we get the confirmation, right? Now, in terms of the overall levels, if we drop back down, we get the green bullish 30-minute confirmation, we're going to be on track to break above 529.60. We break above 529.60. We close the gap. This is going to be your next level. There's a gap that is waiting to fill above right here at this 532.80 level. If you see a red bearish 30-minute confirmation, a trend reversal 30-minute confirmation towards this level, from that level, you're going to want to buy put options. And then the next level above that is going to be 543. That's another level where we're interested in buying put options for an overall move for a gap reversal, right? So I gave you the overall zone to buy calls, and I explained to you if we drop back to that zone, it's likely going to break above 529. Then we're going to fill the gap. Once we fill that gap, if you see a confirmation for puts, buy puts. That's going to be the next make or break level. And then once we go to 543, buy puts. If you are using these levels with the 30-minute confirmation, I genuinely don't understand how anyone can be going red. You should be having winning as your personal fucking choice, man. Every single level I'm giving out with these 30-minute confirmations is printing at the speed of fucking light. You just have to be patient enough for the zones to hit. And then once the zones hit, you have to wait for the 30-minute candlestick to close within the favor you're playing for. And then you enter the trade on the opening towards the next 30-minute candle, man. This is so simple. Just by looking at the daily chart, man, to me, it looks like the best thing we can focus on is buying the overall dips, man. SPY is extremely oversold for the short-term beam, man. This was just at 565. You got all these fucking gaps waiting to fill above at 533, 543, 565. We're in a market that keeps on pushing for new all-time fucking highs. Look, man, the best thing you can really focus on is to just wait for the SPY to have these gap ups, and then if it quickly drops back down, loses its gains from the gap, right? You're going to buy call options on the 30-minute confirmation. If you would have just executed that trading plan we gave you yesterday, it was so simple. We identified, man, the SPY has been nonstop. Yesterday was basically an exact repeat of fucking today, man. That's how we were able to do so well capturing these overall trends and patterns, man. We wait for them to overall develop, man. SPY had a massive gap up. SPY had a massive gap up. If it drops back down towards the gap, drops back down towards the gap. Remember, it doesn't have to be exactly at the gap. I gave you 523, 522, the buy zone, trend reversal, 30-minute confirmation, right? So that's the overall game plan. Now, for those of you who are serious about making money and printing with us at the speed of fucking light, it's going to be the first link down below in the description. If you want to get access to my secure private organization where we give you all of our real-time trade alerts within the chat, we have the highest win rate in the game, buying cheap, low-risk, far-out-of-the-money option contracts. We're known for selling them deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains, and we got the best system within the market doing this. The contracts are so fucking cheap. We do not use stop losses. You can hold the contracts, let them expire worthless. As you can see, in terms of all those fucking trades I made, if you were literally to just fucking hold them, they all eventually go in the money. They all eventually print at the speed of light. Even when we enter trades in the dead plays, meaning they drop 50, 60, 70, 80%, they tend to come back to life and go in the money later on throughout the day, which is why we have that reason to not use stop losses. And another reason to not use stop losses, not just because they can go back in the money later, but also we're buying the cheapest low risk contracts. You do not have to put in much money to make the biggest percentage gains on these overall contracts. You can make very good money just by taking very light size and holding your trades longer for the biggest fucking wins. So we're known for holding our trades longer for bigger fucking wins. We're known for buying further out of the money, selling deep in the money for the biggest percentage gains. This is the best fucking system. The only stop we are setting is what they don't teach you, which is a profit stop. We set profit stops. We get stopped out for profits, not for fucking losses. In terms of the losses, you can hold the fucking losses. And like I said, the vast majority of the time, I would say, in my experience, trade in here, 70% of the time, the dead plays that drop 50, 60, 70, 80%, they come back to life, they go in the fucking money, which is a great reason to not use stop losses. Along with our risk management 101, the contracts are so fucking cheap. You don't need a stop loss. Just don't put in what you're not willing to afford to fucking risk. You know, whether that's 1% of your account, 2% of your account, basically whatever you're putting in, you should have the expectation that if it doesn't work out, it goes to zero. We have the highest win rate in the fucking game doing this, man. If you want to be a part of my secured private organization and you want to master trading with us, man, I'm telling you, the way to learn how to trade is to trade. If you trade with us and you study the information that is that I'm providing in these videos, you're going to genuinely start to understand why it is that I'm entering the trade. If you're looking at the timestamps of my real-time trade alerts, you should have a good understanding at least half of the time why I'm in the trade if you're watching these videos, man. A lot of the reason is based off of these unique trading strategies. Sometimes you're not going to be able to understand because sometimes the trade is purely based off of intuition, the heart of cards. There's other times where it's more technical and price action analysis focused. You know, every trader knows that certain trades, there literally is the strategy is literally just intuition and heart of cards. I do enter trades like that, but then there's other trades where I combine everything together. I combine all the technicals, all the price action, all the patterns, everything it is that I'm teaching you. That's what you have to be able to do as a trader. You have to combine everything it is that you know about trading into one singular trade, along with having that intuition in the heart of cards, man. You have that intuition, it's going to give you all the confidence to have the cards play out within your favor. That's genuinely gonna help make it happen overall. So with that being said, man, if you want to be a part of our secure private organization, it is going to be the first link down below in the description. You're getting access to a 90% plus fucking win rate. We are printing at the speed of fucking light, non-fucking stop. I trade best during the power hour trading session in terms of G-Roar. G-Roar tends to trade all day. His morning trades are absolutely fucking crushing it, man. Like I said, every single time G-Roar trades within the morning, it's typically a win. Literally every single fucking time, man. Winning a fucking choice within the first 30 minutes from market open. And then if you want to come back for more during the power hour trading session, you can risk, 30% of your gains, 50% of your gains to make very lucrative gains during the power hour trading session, man. That's that main focus, is the market open in the power hour trading session. We do have trades during the middle of the day as well, but the main focus is that market open in that power hour trading session, man. So with that being said, if you want to be a part of my secure private organization, it is the first link down below within the description. You can start printing with us at the speed of fucking light beginning tomorrow, and you can end the week with us. You can end the week with us on a very high note.